Hey, just Mark here. All right, so I thought I'd film a second video while I'm out here in Fish Creek Park, talking about some of the worst financial mistakes I've made in my life. And it's actually kind of funny when I look back and realize that if I'd made just a couple different decisions, that I wouldn't be sitting there where I'm at now, and maybe I would, be retired actually, because I decided to be a little bit smarter. So when I was younger, I did work at a couple of the most popular nightclubs here in Calgary. And in doing that, I actually made a lot of money. And the crappy part is I blew a lot of it too. Whether it was spending money going out partying on my nights off, buying crappy used cars, eating out, having multiple pizza parties with my buddies. But early on, that was a lesson that I should have learned quickly. And I should have actually followed my dad's advice. My dad had sent me some stuff on saving and what it could mean for me in my 40s and my 50s. But when you're like 18 to 21 years old, even a little bit older than that, that's forever. That's far away. And you don't think. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s. You've got to start thinking about retirement. I am 100% behind on retirement savings, and I need to fix that. And but yeah, some of the other financial mistakes that I've made in my life as I went on, buying really, really bad used cars without getting them inspected first. That was terrible. I had this little Ford Escort that did last me a few years, but transmission problems, alternator problems, all the things, and I didn't know how to handle that. I think back then I was making $7, $8 an hour, so I could barely afford that on top of my bills. And so buying used cars was definitely something that I made a big mistake on. Another one, when I look back and think, is not being better with my bills and carrying debt that I shouldn't have. I had lived with some people who, after a while, a bunch of them stopped paying their bills, and my name was on everything. So electricity and phone and all that stuff, because back in the late '90s, early 2000s, cell phones weren't really a thing. So everybody had a home phone or whatever. Internet, same thing. And I remember getting to a point where I'd gotten so far in the hole that I eventually just said to everybody, we got to move. And that was probably one of the smartest choices I made. But then again, bad choices. I found a place to live that was cheap, but I was miserable. So that also can affect me financially, because I didn't save money where I needed to, and I continued to do anything to be outside of the house, and it's brutal. One of the other ones I kind of think about is, and this is always controversial, but choosing the wrong partners. Early on in my early years, I did date some people who had champagne dreams and I had a beer budget, and that was tough. And being the kind of guy that I am, I'm a people pleaser. I wanted to, give these ladies I was dating, whatever I could, whether it was dinners out or buying stuff or fun date nights. And I spent more money than I probably needed to. I was trying to be a saver, and a lot of them were okay with just spending money. I remember I dated one girl who, by the time we were done dating, I was so far in debt because I was trying to save and she was a spender, and it was brutal. I didn't realize how much of our daily expenses were adding up. $5 here, $10 there, Walmart, the grocery store. Those little $5 purchases add up, and that was another lesson I learned. You may think, oh, I'm just spending $5 on a coffee, or spending $5 on buying a pepperoni stick. I don't know. I'm just giving some ideas, but those little purchases add up over time. $5 10 times, that's $50. 100 times, that's $500. And as I'm older now, I definitely am a little more conscious of where I spend my money. I do eat out still a little too often than I should. Not, I can afford it, but it's not something I should be doing. I should be socking that money away for retirement. And as I at my age now, I am definitely focusing on retirement, and I'm cutting expenses, and I'm trying to learn from my past mistakes. I also, some mistakes I made when I was younger is I would loan people money that really I shouldn't have, because they never paid me back. They never helped me out. There's people who owe me tons of money from back in the day that I can't go back after. I don't even talk to these people anymore. And I think it is just a matter of I wasn't smart. And I mean, there's education out there. And I think where some of these Zennials and Millennials have an advantage now is that there's so much knowledge out there that's right at your fingertips. A lot of this knowledge I didn't understand. Banks were intimidating, but I should have started saving when I was younger. And that comes to like one of the biggest financial mistakes is not saving enough when I was younger, even $25, $50. My dad had told me to do that. And I was like, whatever, I don't need to save. And now I definitely save. But listen to your parents. Oh my gosh, listen to your parents, because I could have saved so much money by now. I mean, granted, I was able to save enough money to buy a home a few years ago, and unfortunately, it's now sold. But those are some stupid things. Another thing I think about a lot is very bad investments. Taking advice from people who know better than me. They would spend their money on things and, hey, buy this stock or whichever. And I remember reading books when I was younger saying, invest in what you know. And I didn't really follow that advice. Not very well, anyway. I would go on the waves, buy stocks I thought were up, and sometimes I would make the biggest mistake and sell when they were down, not holding on because I had no patience. And at the end of the day, I lost thousands doing that. And now I'm a little more, gut, like steel gut, in terms of holding some of my investments and not selling them when they're down a little bit, especially with the market being as volatile as it has been the last few years. But that mistake was huge. I sold stuff when I shouldn't have. I remember, I'll give you an example. I had AMD stock and it dropped and dropped and dropped, and I panicked and I sold it. Well, it's gone up multiple times since then. And that was probably about 3 years ago. And it was just not being patient. Also not educating myself. But I think the biggest financial mistake I made was not saving enough money and not trying. I thought money could just come and go and spend. And, I did grow up in a home where money was tight, and I saw my mom struggle many times because she didn't have enough money, and I thought I could be better. And many times in my life, I've struggled because I haven't had enough money. I've tried my best to support my family when I had them and spend a ton of money doing that. And there are some minor regrets to certain things that I spent my money on. The other thing here is, for a financial mistake, would be living with people in general that didn't have the same mentality and didn't pay their bills. So going forward, I thought these are just some of the lessons I've learned. And maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't. I don't know. But gosh, I could go over so many more. So many more. But I think I've kind of outlined the ones that have affected me the most. Because had I just made a couple of different decisions when I was younger, I'd be in a much better financial position now. I am in an okay financial position. I've got a good job. But I know that after my separation, I have doubled down on saving and making sure I'm going to be okay. Because in my next video, I plan on talking about retirement. I'm very far behind. I'm worried I won't have enough money to retire with, again, because of some past mistakes and not really focusing on that. Because now I'm thinking, gosh, I am, 17 years away from retirement, if I'm lucky. And I don't even have enough saved for that. I've got a small pension, I've got a little bit saved in the RSP, but nothing there. Anyways, I hope this helps a little bit. If you have any feedback on things and mistakes you've made in the past. Oh, one more. Actually, I also would buy stuff I don't need. Like, I used to collect things when I was younger that I thought maybe would go up in value. Nothing like the Beanie Babies or anything like that, but some sports cards, and some jerseys and different things that I would buy that just are worthless now. And I have had to, in some cases, give a lot of things away for free and got rid of them as I moved on with my life, and it purged. So that was another one that I kind of wanted to mention, is just buying useless things, even just buying stuff from my house that I didn't like, compromising and buying multiple kitchen tables or different chairs that I didn't like. And I just did it because I just wanted to please people. So anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully this helped. Please comment, like, subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Cheers. Have a good one.